Hey guys, my name is Jim Aspel. I'm a board-certified workers' compensation attorney in Farmington, Connecticut. And I wanted to talk to you a minute about what the proper procedure would be if you sustain a shoulder injury while working on the job in Connecticut. Shoulder injuries are one of the more common injuries that we see, probably second only to back injuries in terms of frequency. So obviously the most important thing that you want to do if you first sustain a shoulder injury on the job is you want to report it. You want to make sure that you tell your supervisor if there's any kind of paperwork that your employer requires you to fill out. Make sure that you do that in a timely manner. And it's important to report these injuries right away. Frequently, we get a case in the office where somebody sustained a shoulder injury a day or two previous to when they actually reported it. And the employer is always going to want to know, well, what took you so long? Common situation in workers' comp. So if you sustain any kind of injury, shoulder or otherwise, make sure that you report it right away. If there's any kind of way to make sure that that's recorded in writing, do so. If you have to report that by telephone, in other words, call into your employer or a reporting number or something like that, if at all possible, try to make a recording of the call for your own protection. If you report the injury by text, make sure that you save copies of those texts, just so if there's any question down the road as the claim progresses, everybody knows that you did in fact report the claim. So that's number one, report the claim in a timely manner. Number two, get medical treatment. So typically your employer is going to have a preferred medical provider for you to go to, whether that's a Concentra or an Alliance Healthcare or something like that. Make sure that you get the medical treatment as soon as you possibly can after you sustain the injury. Make sure that you clearly document how it was that you got hurt. Make sure that the doctor or the APRN or the PA or whomever it is you see understands that you were hurt at work, and here's exactly how it was that happened. Whether something fell on you, whether you were pulling something and you felt a pop, whether there was a twisting of your arm, whatever it is, make sure that the mechanism of injury and the history of how it occurred at work is recorded in the medical records. Because if it isn't, that's another one of those things that's frequently going to come back to haunt you. Okay, so report it, get the medical treatment. Number three, file your workers' compensation claim. Under Connecticut law, you have 1 year from the date of the injury to file the workers' compensation claim. And I say this time and time again, but your employer is not going to report the claim for you. Just because you've made contact with a workers' compensation insurance company, an adjuster reaches out to you, you get some paperwork, something like that, that is not the same thing as reporting the claim as is required by the Connecticut statutes. The only correct way to report a workers' compensation claim to protect your rights is to file a workers' compensation Form 30C in the proper manner with both the Workers' Compensation Commission in the office having jurisdiction where you got injured and with your employer. There's a very specific process that you need to follow. If you have any questions about that at all, or you're afraid that you're not going to do it correctly, you want help with that, contact an experienced Connecticut workers' compensation attorney to do that for you. There's no charge for that. They're happy to help you. It's what we do. We want to make sure that your rights are protected and you make your claim progress as easily as possible. So report the claim, get the medical treatment, file the 30C, and you're off to a good start in protecting your rights with regard to your shoulder claim in the state of Connecticut. If you have any questions about any of that, give me a call. We're in Farmington. Our telephone number is 860-523-8783. We do have a website, www.ctworkinjurylawyer.com. There's tons and tons of information about Connecticut workers' compensation on that site. If you have any questions, take a look there. Give us a call. If you found the video helpful, give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. It helps the algorithm, and I'd invite you to subscribe to the channel. We do have quite a bit of content out there on Connecticut workers' compensation topics. Hope you have a good day, and I hope you found the video helpful. Thanks.